Look, I'm so worried about you right now. The savings rate this month hit a low of 2.7%. This is an unbelievable and ridiculous warning sign that I told you about last week.
The person that has $236.
Invest it all in yourself. You're already broke. Don't hold on to $236. Our parents, they taught us to save money. You know?
Yeah,
This is
100%.
stupid.
I want to bank cash, man. I need money. I need emergency funds.
A safety net is one of the first goals any investor should establish in fund. We recommend that everyone should save regularly towards some kind of safety net.
It just doesn't make any sense. Save your money. Prepare for a rainy day. It fucking don't rain here.
I need to treat money like it's sacred. The savings rate in this country was over 6.5% for 30 years. Now it's collapsed again. What are you doing?
I'll never forget. These guys paid $12,000 each to sit in that chair. 3 days I got to look at their ugly faces.
Look, man, you're spending money on junk when you don't need it. Look at my little things, man. I know guys walking around with $500 and $600 headphones, and I got my little freebies that came with my phone. Why? What's the difference?
So this is a 13-passenger Gulfstream. It retails for about $61 million.
Truth is, most people don't like money. I know they don't like money. You know how I know they don't like money? Because as soon as you get some, you get rid of it. You buy shit with it.
I mean, it's crazy. When you start putting stuff on a jet, it's bizarre. Like this door was not in here. This door right here, believe it or not, cost $850,000 to put in.
America is back to the savings rate that it was at back when we had this problem in 2008. When people were buying Porsches and cars and country clubs. Dude, it was out of hand.
10 years ago, all they used in these planes was really dark, heavy wood. Probably cost $1 million to replace the wood.
You know, my father told me when I was 6 years old, he said, watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves.
Okay, help me out here. A penny saved is? A penny is a penny. Okay, your mama got real complicated here. A penny is a penny, and if you spend time with them, you'll end up with nothing.
When you watch pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters, when you watch that, you're going to pay attention to the bigger flows. People that are not disciplined with money don't end up with money. People that waste money on dumb things don't end up with money. There's something universal about money. Waste it, somebody else gets it. So if you're down to your last $1,000, this offer today is $9.97, grantcardone.com/shark. Okay?
Yeah.
You're down, a guy's sitting there right now watching this and I got my last grand, dude, and I got Christmas coming. Should he spend it on this?
Absolutely.
I would tell you the same thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the $10 million studio. Let me say up top, this investigation will contain potential money laundering, unregulated offshore gambling, and worst of all, influencers.
This is $1 million video. I just realized I spent $600,000 on watches. I lost $200,000 to 6ix9ine, $60,000 in private planes, $20,000 on hotels in Mexico, $100,000 on Rolex and cars. So it feels good to be a winner.
This is the first in a 6-part series in collaboration with Some Ordinary Gamers. It's exposing the secret world of unregulated offshore crypto gambling and how influencers have become filthy rich by being the gasoline on the fire, promoting it around the world and making it into the billion-dollar phenomenon it is globally. Now, I'll be honest, when I first started looking at this, I had no idea about any of that. The reason I'm actually here starts off the way all great stories start, with Twitter beef. All right, here's how this went down. I had been hearing for a while about how online unregulated crypto casinos were hiring some of the biggest influencers in the world to promote them and then would pay them for every fan they got to sign up. And not only that, every time their fans would lose money to the casino, the influencer would make a cut on those losses. Now, I thought this was insane, and I said, enough's enough. It's time to act. So I tweeted about it. Quote, just found out that the top gambling streamers are getting paid a percentage of their signups losses. So not only are streamers getting paid to promote gambling to their fans, they're literally incentivized for their fans to lose as much as possible. How do these people sleep at night? Now, normally I expect my tweets to go into the great void of Jack's armpit, but this time I guess one of those gambling streamers actually saw it and he responded. Steve will do it. Now I can't imagine why he felt singled out by my tweet, but he was off that I would accuse him of profiting off the losses of his fans. He told me, Hey, you broke moron, do your research. Roobet's affiliate program has nothing to do with losing. It's about the bet. Roobet is different than other gambling websites. Do your research, you broke moron, before you post like this publicly. Given his thoughtful response, I thought, hey, maybe I made a mistake. So I went back and checked Roobet's affiliate terms. And it turns out he's right. Roobet doesn't give influencers a percentage of their fans' losses. Roobet gives their influencers a percentage of the mathematical odds of their fans losing. This is straight from Roobet's page. Affiliates receive a commission of 5% of the mathematical house edge on all their referrals wagers, with that percentage increasing as the referrer climbs the tiers. And if you're thinking right now, wow, that sounds like basically exactly the same thing, it is the exact same thing, just with a little ethical distancing. It's kind of clever, actually, because now, instead of being directly tied to their fans' losses, they can plead innocent. They're still profiting from their fans, but, in that indirect economic percentage sort of way. It's kind of like saying, no, I didn't bomb those Syrian kids. I just sent the drone that did. It's the exact same thing. It just sounds a little bit better. But anyways, we fired back and forth a few times. He eventually deleted his responses, but something he said always stuck with me. And no, it wasn't the part about him sleeping very well at night, living in a penthouse, knowing that I change people's lives every day and I'm rich. It wasn't even, hey, you broke loser. It was actually this. Do your research, which is why this series now exists. And Steve Will Do It legally can't be mad about it because technically he's the one who asked for this. So, yeah, Steve, this one's for you. Now, I want to be clear, ladies and gentlemen. A small sense of vindictiveness is not why I'm telling you this story today. It is a small reason, okay? I'll admit that. But it would have never carried me through this investigation, which had so many dead ends. What actually hooked me and kept me going on this investigation was a single question. How is this video possible? It shouldn't exist. To explain what I mean, let's go to the board because I got to explain a little more about Steve Will Do It for a little context. Steve is a member of Nelk, an insanely popular YouTube channel known for their pranks, like trying to use Monopoly money at a casino. Kind of weird foreshadowing, to be honest. But they generally make fun, popular videos with a lot of money being thrown around. Cars being gifted, partying, that kind of thing. But the money I was seeing thrown around, specifically in Steve Will Do It's videos, was too much. It didn't make any sense. Like every video, it was private jets, buying exotic cars, giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars. And going off my experience with YouTube, I knew something was off. See, remember that video I mentioned, the $1 million one? It only had 4.3 million views. And in that video, he really does spend $1 million.
This is a $1 million video, I just realized.
By contrast, the only other YouTuber in the world I know of that can afford that kind of spending is Mr. Beast, who regularly gets 50 plus million views on a video. And there's always a sponsor on those videos to recoup some of that cost. But here's the weird thing. On Steve's video, with 10 times fewer views, there's no sponsor. And that's how so many of his videos are. He's throwing around money like Mr. Beast, but he has a fraction of the views, and he's not sponsored. So it begs the question, where's this massive cash flow coming from? Is Steve Will Do It the son of a Saudi prince? Like, this dude seems to have endless amounts of cash, oil baron amounts of cash. And at first, I thought, okay, wait a second, Happy Dad, their new alcohol company, right? But it can't be that, because this spending predates that. Well, maybe it's merch then. That's the Nelk Boys thing, right? They pull in $70 million a year selling their merch. Maybe selling hats is how Steve affords to live like the son of a president. And I would have thought that, but right as I was about to give up, someone gave me a helping hand on a drunken live stream. Let's bring down the board here.
I have figured out other ways to make money. So, I'm not big because I feel like a baller right now. I don't take private planes. I don't buy $300,000 watches. I don't buy whatever. But today I just bought a $200,000 Sprinter. It's badass. It's like, I don't do that from selling t-shirts, dude. It's actually impossible. I've figured out, I've gotten financial advice, this and that, from my two buddies. They've helped me out. So it's like, they own WizUp. So it's like, they've helped me make so much money to where I don't even want anything.
Wow. When I saw this, I thought to myself, is this guy confessing? He talks about getting financial advice from someone that changed his life. Like, from who? Who is it, Steve? Help us. Is it Warren Buffett? Did you get advice from Max Kaiser? I mean, honestly, from the way he's talking, whatever this magical financial advice is, it dwarfs Nelk's merch business.
I don't do that of selling t-shirts, dude. It's actually impossible.
So what is this financial secret? What is this
knowledge?
Immediately, I started hunting around. At first, I couldn't find much. Just more evidence that Steve Will Do It, of all people, is more loaded than possibly any other YouTuber in the world right now. Just watch this answer to a question about finances from Steve-O's podcast.
What is your mission?
To be a billionaire.
You're going to be a billionaire.
All right.
To be a billionaire, yeah.
Do you have a timeline for that?
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years?
Damn.
What? Wait a second. 3 to 5 years? He's not even saying that ironically or as a joke. He's like, yeah, what, 3 to 5 years? I don't know. I mean, whatever secret way he's talking about making money earlier, the kind of wealth that's impossible selling merch, that must be what we're missing here, the missing link. And I wasn't making much progress finding out how he was doing it. I realized I had to focus up. I got to set my ego aside. I got to make a change. There we go. I'm finally ready. What happened next was kind of hard to stomach. I spent the next several days watching enough Steve Will Do It content to make my eyes bleed. But finally, all my work paid off. I finally found the episode where Steve once again mentions his friend who made him so much money.
Alfonso has helped me a lot, with some financial like making good financial moves, money moves. I'm forever grateful for him, and I'm gonna gift him a Richard Mille. And so he has a bunch of Richard Milles, but this one's like a unique one.
Okay, so we actually learned something here. One, this Alfonso guy, Steve's special friend who helped him, he must be loaded, right? Because if he has a collection of Richard Mille watches that regularly cost hundreds of thousands of dollars individually, a collection would mean he's at least worth several $1 million minimum. Now at this point, I'm imagining several different possible candidates for this mentor of Steve's. Obviously, Tai Lopez being the first one. But I was completely wrong. The financial wizard behind the curtain is shockingly young.
So this is Alfonso. And
Wait, this guy? He looks like your average frat bro in his mid-20s. But even as that was like breaking my brain, things started to make even less sense. Pay attention to what he calls Alfonso just a bit later in this clip. I'm going to let it play for a bit.
And this is Doom. 100% of the time, 365 days of the year, he wears a full send / Steve Will Do It / Happy Dad shirt. And Alan, 90...
Whoa. Did you catch that? He calls him
Alan!
And Alan...
And he does it again later, too.
This is Alan's beautiful girlfriend.
Alan again. Huh. Why would Steve Will Do It mislabel his friend? To find out, I called up a friend of mine who's been digging into this, the Third Eye himself, because we need to get to the bottom of who this mystery man is. Philion, thanks so much for taking the time. I know you've been looking into this. Who is this Alfonso guy? Or Alan, whoever it is?
All right, so I tracked it all down. His name is Alan. He's a 25-year-old multi-millionaire running the Los Angeles social media scene. He owns both Roobet and Wizza. You know Roobet, right?
Yeah, it's that online casino that Steve Will Do It and all those guys are gambling on, right?
Exactly, except it's offshore, unregulated, cryptocurrency-based, and it's not legal in the US. And they are raking in tens of millions of dollars per month.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second. You're saying Alan owns that along with Wizza as well?
Yep.
Those are some big accusations. How do you know it's this like frat bro behind it all? He doesn't have his name on it, right?
Well, he does have Roobet's name on himself. He's quite literally got a tattoo of it on his wrist, which he showcases above his Richard Mille, the $500,000 watches.
All the one that all the 25-year-olds own.
Yeah. I mean, I got two of them, but I got them also on the transitive property of Aiden Ross.
Wait, what do you mean? You got a clip for that or something?
Of course, let's roll it.
His house is sponsored by a company called like Wizza or some shit. I haven't paid rent at all, but I could do, and if you guys could literally help me come up with giveaways, like challenges and shit, like last person to blah, 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 gets blah, 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 blah. Like, I can literally promote it how I want to do it, how we want to do it. You guys can help me decide, like, yo, Aiden, you should do a giveaway where you're doing this. They're actually really cool dudes, bro. And they're just like me. Like, they own Roobet. They own that site, right?
Not only that, Roobet's Rocket Fund LLC is also registered to the exact same address as the Wizza Sweepstakes LLC, which is 930 Washington Avenue, Suite 205, Miami 33139.
Holy sh! It is the same guys. So when Steve will do it's talking about his friend who owns Wizza helping him out financially in life, he's talking about Roobet?
Yep, he's talking about Alan. And not only that, this guy Alan used to be part of the CSGO gambling scene back in the day under the name Arrow1738 until he shut down his YouTube channel with 40,000 subscribers, and now, since then, he's tried to stay in the dark.
It's the same scam all over again.
Exactly.
All right, I know that's been a lot, so we're going to recap real quick. So Steve Will Do It is like insanely loaded because of this guy whose name is Alfonso, but not Alfonso because that's actually an alias. His name is Alan, and he owns a sketchy giveaway company called Wizza, but also Roobet, which is an online gambling casino, which obviously gives us some context to why Steve Will Do It is defending Roobet so hard on Twitter. This is his golden goose. This is where his money is coming from. In fact, remember that $1 million video? I think we finally have the answer to that. It may not have been sponsored, but watching it again, there definitely was a sponsor in that video. This is definitely our guy. He's the reason for this lavish spending. But I also realized that this story might be bigger than just Steve. Yes, he's loaded. And I'm determined to find out how much money he's making from getting his fans to gamble at offshore, unregulated casinos. But there are many other influencers also promoting Roobet. You've got Nelk, Aiden Ross, Logan Paul's friend, Banks, and you also got Wizza. How does that play into this sketchy giveaway company? And what about Alfonso? There's just so much here. I think I got to make a call, honestly. All right, Mood, I'm passing this off to you. We need to do more research about Roobet. How does it work? How do you get paid? What's going on with all these LA influencers?
Oh, brother, I'm already on it. Look at this guy.
Pure cost from what I lost, investing in advertising, thinking this was going to work, was about $50,000 to $60,000. So he offered me a free iPad, and I got that. And
it's not, well, it's an expensive iPad when you think about it. I mean, right. From a certain perspective, it's a very expensive iPad. But yeah.
So he used the name of his former company to claim it's some accredited body.
Welcome to Coffeezilla. Today we have Levi, and he wants to talk to you guys about teaching English as a foreign language and how he got scammed by Jimmy Krangler, right?
Jimmy Krangle.
Jimmy Krangle. Krangler.
He is the Krangler. That's a good nickname.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So just jump in, Levi. I mean, let's start maybe broad terms. How much, what was the impact of getting involved with Jimmy Krangle, the Krangler?
That's a good question. Man, the impact long term, it's hard to say because I lost so much in opportunity cost, but just pure cost from what I lost, investing in advertising, thinking this was going to work, was about $50,000 to $60,000.
That's so brutal. That is brutal. I think it's a good cautionary tale. The reason I'm having you on is I often think these are good cautionary tales for anyone who thinks that they have something that feels too good to be true. Yeah. Obviously, you didn't get involved in this thinking that you would lose that amount of money. Walk us through how you got there and how you had that much to begin with. I think that's interesting.
I was an English teacher in China for 3.5 years. I started in 2015 in May.
Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't have much money at the time, but I saved it up over the next 3.5 years teaching. I got better jobs and I got a teaching certificate. So I was a professional teacher and got a job at an international school. And I also made a little bit of that money, about $20,000 from trading cryptocurrency. So at that point in my life, I was like, I'm ready to just move back to the United States. I don't like it here anymore. I don't want to teach. And I don't want to be in China. So
that's surprising, because I think for a lot of people, they want to go abroad and they have this like very big fantasy about what going abroad could mean. And teaching abroad is one of those ways people consider doing it. What was your experience with that?
Yeah, it was exciting. You know, I had the same idea when I started. It was this big fantasy, like I was just going to travel the world and make money doing it. It was great, you know? So that illusion kind of wore off as time went on, because I was having to deal with all this bureaucratic stuff, being a foreigner in China. And it just didn't seem like the people would treat me like a normal person because I was a foreigner to them. So anyway, I was thinking about getting into this business because, you know, it seemed like a good investment for me. I'd been around, I had some experience in that industry.
Hold on, let's back up. Let's make sure to clarify. What business are you getting into? Because we haven't gotten into that. What is Jimmy Krangle's business? So you are teaching English as a foreign language in China.
So should I describe his business model?
Yes.
Okay. So the idea was, he called this a franchise. So he was selling a part of his business, basically. And I think this is a little different from your normal run-of-the-mill guru, like you usually do, the fake gurus, because he's actually claiming he has a working business model. So yeah, the deal was I would sell his TEFL courses, and TEFL is an acronym for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. So there are these courses you can do to prepare yourself to ostensibly teach English overseas in basically any country. And I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds legit, because, you know, I knew this could work. I knew people made money doing it. But I didn't know this guy, of course. So, and the deal was I would get 80% of the profits for all of the courses sold, plus another commission if I recruited other franchisees.
That's such a high percentage of the commission, 80%. I've never heard of a commission that high.
The numbers just went up and down wildly. Like sometimes it would be 20,000, 40,000 for the franchise fee. And then he's
how much did you pay for the franchise?
The franchise was $30,000 for me.
And what did you get?
Just the promise that I would make 80% of the profits.
So you got no physical good. You got no physical good for $30,000. Just more like
actually, I think that's why he offered some of these other perks, because it's like there's nothing physical to this. So he offered me a free iPad, and I got that. And
it's not it's an expensive iPad when you think about it. I mean, from a certain perspective, it's a very expensive iPad. But yeah, free iPad.
And also, okay, so I want to get into some of the perks he offered, which was he offered to, like, I had to fly out. I had to pay for my plane ticket to get out to Thailand, where he lived, and he would offer me this free TEFL course. I thought this was actually his TEFL course. It was live in class. So I would go attend that TEFL course on the tropical island of Koh Samui, and I did. So it turns out he wasn't even associated with that TEFL course. He just paid for me to be in there, I guess.
And why were you going? Because you already were teaching you had already been a teacher of English as a foreign language for 3 years. You went to experience what it would be like to sell that product, or what?
I wanted to take advantage of what he was offering me, you know, because he was like, you can go to Koh Samui, which is a really nice place to be. Okay. It's like a vacation. Mm-hmm. It was a nice time, you know. I'm not going to lie. I got something, but it's not worth what I paid. I paid for the business. That's what I was in it for.
And the business was you would sell for him his course, and you would get 80% of the profits. Yep. Now, I think a lot of people listening, including myself, are going to think that sounds more like an affiliate link than it does a franchise.
Yeah, given that's probably not the legal term, but that's the word he used. It's franchise
just sounds better.
Basically.
Franchise sounds like it sounds like you're getting something, whereas what you're really getting is is kind of an affiliate deal, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, and how is this pitched to you? I mean, you wouldn't spend $30,000 if you thought it was, wouldn't make you some money. Why did you think it would make you so much money?
I don't know. It was one of those Facebook ads that I clicked on. I never would have given it a second look, but because I knew about this fake guru stuff, I was kind of naive at the time. But this guy offered something tangible, and I had some experience with it, so it's like this might actually work. And he said it's basically guaranteed. If it doesn't work, you'll get your money back. It's like, well,
oh, dude, that those promises aren't worth anything.
Never.
Guys, when you see a money back guarantee, it's never worth the paper it's printed on. Sometimes
for that much money,
sometimes it's honored, sometimes it's not. And the guy is in where? Thailand? Yeah. What are you going to do? Right. So, right. Okay. So he offers you a money back guarantee, guaranteed to work. And he's basically pitching you the laptop lifestyle, I'm guessing, in the Facebook ad. Yeah.
Like the digital nomad thing.
Seductive, man. It's so seductive.
Yeah. They all use the same tactics. I've come to learn this over the years. It's just, I don't know.
So you decide, all right, I want to do this, and you have $30,000 to spend because you've been saving all this money.
Right. Yeah, I've been teaching. Yeah,
but you were saving that so you could land on your feet when you wanted to do something else, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had this idea that I was going to go home and start investing in real estate. And that was what I wanted to do since before I left for China. So that's probably what I should have done. It's just, I could have gone home and bought a house free and clear and I'd be good set, I'd be set. But I decided, no, I'm going to invest this right now while I have this opportunity because it was just right in my face. And I thought, it would work. So it would be a good transition for me once I was out of China and living in the U.S. and I didn't really know what to do in the U.S. And I kept having these creeping thoughts like, what if this doesn't work and I have nothing left? And that's essentially what happened when I got back to the U.S.
Because it costs so much to run this business.
Yeah.
How much did you have in savings, if you don't mind me asking, before leaving China or starting this course? And then how much did you have after, if you can ballpark?
I calculated it somewhere around $80,000 to $85,000 in savings.
That's a lot of money. That's a good job saving.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't have any debt when I left, so that really helped. But, so I was able to save. And then at the end, the 30,000 took a good chunk of it. And after that, I spent like a year trying to hire people to do the marketing for me because I didn't have any experience in this kind of thing.
Oh, you gave this a real shot. Like you really tried to make this thing. Like it wasn't just...
I was just going to throw money at it until it worked.
Oh my gosh. So it's so interesting. Okay. So sometimes people realize like, early on, for some reason, they're really fooled at the outset, and then they realize early on, oh, this is a scam. I'm not going to spend any time on it. But very few people. But what I actually kind of appreciate that you really gave this a shot because now you can definitively talk about whether it's a scam or it's not because you have you've given it, tens of thousands of dollars.
I had these doubts, in my mind throughout the whole period. I was like, maybe I just suck at this, but I hired the best people I could. And I actually got it caught up in another scam while I was doing it for a professional online marketer who was doing Facebook ads. I got like a few posts on my Facebook and nothing else. That was it.
No, Levi. Don't.
I don't even want to go into that.
You need to log off Facebook, dude. I think you need to log off Facebook. I think Facebook's the start of all your troubles.
Okay, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, you can't believe what you see on Facebook, man. They don't monitor any of that stuff. Wow.
I found this guy in Upwork. But
okay. Oh, okay. Upwork. So he's an internet marketer, Facebook marketer, whatever.
Yeah. And after that, I actually found some guys who were pretty good, and they're the ones who keyed me off that this was all a scam, in a certain way,
Did they outright tell you that?
No, they had no idea what I was doing. They thought it would work too, because I didn't really prep them on this, but it was like, okay, you run my ads on Facebook. I'll pay the marketing costs and I'll pay you your fee. It was $1,000 a month to hire them. Mm-hmm. And then I was going to spend $2,000 a month on ads because I was going big,
Wow. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I had these professional ads made. That was another cost. And then had them run on Facebook for a few months. And the thing is, I actually got 2 sales in the beginning. I got credited with 2 sales. So I was like, yeah, maybe this could actually work. So I'll keep trying this for a little while. And then the winter came and the holidays and everything, things were slowing down. And they had told me this, according to their business model, things would be really low in December. So I was like, I'm just going to take a break for now. So I put the whole operation on hold in November until the end of January. And in November,
January 2019 or 2018?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah. Then November is when I flew out to Thailand, and I met Jimmy Kringle.
What was that like?
Man, hard to describe. It's
really?
He had this air like a guru. But once I was there, I was like, how could this be a scam? I'm actually here. Yeah, he's paying for my hotel room.
He's physically, I don't know where my camera just went out of focus. He's physically, right. How could this guy be a
like
scam?
A justification, in my mind.
He's standing right in front of me.
Right. Yeah, which I never thought somebody would scam you to your face. That's just like something that happens far away.
No. They'll scam you to your face, behind a computer, anywhere, man. Anywhere. Yeah. Okay, so, and at this point, you hadn't seen much success. Did you bring that up with him?
Yeah, I was trying to build a website. I also hired somebody to build a website for me. And
all of this is to redirect affiliate traffic to him.
Exactly, right.
And okay, how is this supposed to make you $100K a year? I mean, you'd have to get so many sales, right?
The way I calculated, it was like 15 sales a month would put me in the profit zone. So
that's a lot of sales. I mean, how many English teaching positions are there versus how many advertisers for teaching English as a foreign language?
That's another thing. They claimed the demand was huge in this industry. Like it was a $10 billion market or something. I don't know.
I don't know. That just doesn't sound right. I mean, it doesn't pass the smell test. It's possible. It's possible. My concept of how huge the teaching English foreign language certificate market is, but a
lot of people do it. I did it.
Sure. No. I have no doubt that people do it. I mean, I'm just saying that is that's a gigantic scale. But the idea was. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I could have taken the cue from my friend, like in China. He was the first guy who got me into China and found me some jobs. That was his role. And he warned me from the outset that this was a scam. Like, you never make any money doing that stuff. But I didn't listen to him, But this was after I already paid $30,000. I told him.
Well, then of course you didn't listen.
He's like,
to him
I could have told you.
Yeah. If you already spent $30,000, you're not going to listen to the naysayers.
Right. I still could have saved myself a bunch of money though.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you spent tens of thousands of dollars after that on Facebook ads, hiring a team, all this stuff. So when did you realize, okay, this is a gigantic scam? And in some ways, this has seriously screwed up your future plans. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't just jump into real estate like I thought I would do, but I've had to get another
pick another career path, which I'm doing now. I'm going into aviation maintenance, and that's going okay so far. Mm-hmm. But the moment I realized this was all a scam, it was after, I wish I'd realized this before I'd gone to his mastermind training event in Bangkok, because then I could have blown the whole thing wide open. But after that, I was still under the impression that I was going to make some money. And he addressed some of my concerns while we were there. It's like, okay, we're just going to send it to his web page that he had already made, and we're going to use my special affiliate link. And then, so I started doing that again, started the operation back up in late January, and through February, I got one more sale in the beginning, and then nothing for the rest of the month. It's like, how is this possible? I did phone calls with him. He's like, this is going to pick up gradually as you go. But, after about a month, I was like, there's nothing. And he was like, no, just keep going. You have to do it for at least 3 months. And, meanwhile, my team was telling me, we had some good metrics on Facebook ads, but there's just no sales.
Right. People were clicking and they weren't actually buying, which is a good indicator that the product, if you can get people in front of your product and they're consistently not buying, that says more about the product, because the advertising is just to get them in the door. And so if you were getting in the door, you were doing your part. And then if they weren't getting sales, conversions weren't happening, that's totally on Krangler.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another important point, because he was there's from all indications, from what I can tell, he was stealing commissions. He was stealing credit for these sales.
Of course he was, because otherwise he'd have to give you 80% of the profits.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's the point? Why would he do that?
Stupid, dude.
I didn't realize it.
Stupid.
But
yeah.
So the indication was that I knew some of these people who I was selling to. Is like,
I want to clarify. I don't know whether he stole commissions. I don't want to say he stole commissions. I don't know. That's Levi's accusation there.
Yeah. No. I have no idea. I can back that up. I'm not going to sound like 100% certain, but to me, it was obvious, and I'd verified this with other franchisees at the time. It's like, I knew some of these people I was selling to, and they said they'd clicked on my link. The way Jimmy said it would work, if anybody ever clicked on my link, I would get credit for them, even if they clicked on a different link later.
If they ended up buying the product and they've clicked on your link first, you would get the credit.
I would get credit.
And you were not getting credit.
No, I talked to some of these people. They said they clicked on my link and they bought the course. Jimmy Kringle verified that person had actually purchased a course. I was like, they got the link from me first, so how did I not get credit for that? Unless they somehow found it unless they never clicked on my link and then they went and somehow found the other link on Facebook somewhere.
Let me ask you, how indicative of this is this to other teaching English as a foreign language course? Because obviously Jimmy Kringle, I think most people haven't heard of him. He's just some guy, what you're kind of characterizing as a shyster. I won't make my own personal character judgments against him, but there are a lot of people in this industry that are kind of similar, would you say? Or
yeah, it varies. Most of the TEFL courses have no backing whatsoever. There's no accreditation, but schools will still accept it as some form of education to submit to their government to say that we're allowed to have foreign teachers working here.
So what would you recommend people do if they're getting into it? Would you say don't go through a teaching certification at all, or just say, hey, go through the cheapest one you can because none of them are accredited?
I don't want to say that, because there's like one legitimate course that I can think of, if you don't mind me.
What's that? Go ahead.
The International TEFL Academy.
Okay.
So that was I did that through them first when I went there, and they gave me some, I had to do some practicum, which is like real teaching, and submit evidence of that. And it was, it helped a little bit. So they had some educational standards there, but these other courses, they're just completely online. You click through a few
so it's
slides, watch a few videos, and so that's the idea.
But outside of these, like this very maybe small group of legit sources, there are a lot of people trying to do something similar to Jimmy Krangle, where it's like just a quick and fast certification that doesn't mean anything. Didn't you say that he said he was accredited or something like that?
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. Look, I have some screenshots here.
By the way, guys, you cannot find this anymore because this website has been taken down. We'll get into that in a second, but just for you guys looking,
good point.
English.org no longer exists for reasons we'll get into. But this is a screenshot I guess you took before it got shut down?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to verify some of this stuff. So, this is actually itefl.org over here on the, I don't know which side it is for you, but it's the left on my side. Yeah. And he has the same TEFL logo at the bottom there, the blue logo.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that's also on his old itefl.org page. Can you see that?
Got it. Yeah. I see that, like that TEFL logo.
Right.
What is that logo supposed to be? Is it like an accreditation?
This is the iTEFL logo. He also used that on e-English. And then at the bottom of the page, it says accredited by the International TEFL Organization.
Who is the International TEFL Organization?
That's this one. So he used the name of his former company to claim it's some accrediting body.
Oh man, that's pretty bold. Whoa, Here, stop sharing for a second.
Okay.
So he started an old company, then had a new company, and said his new company's accredited by his old company.
Exactly. It was
so you could trust him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you didn't realize this until much later, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I realized this at some point during the whole thing, and I was starting to have doubts,
So you started realizing it was bad. Your sales weren't coming in, and is that when you jumped ship?
Basically, yeah. I when I heard the difference between what Jimmy was saying and what my marketers were saying, I was like, this is not a good sign. So that was it for me. I was like, okay, I'm going to call it. You guys can go, no complaints against the marketing, the business that I'd hired. It's just, I could tell that this was all Jimmy's fault at that point.
You'd kind of gotten hoodwinked by the promise of,
Well, I don't want to say it was all his fault. I'm partially responsible too, of course, but
sure. But I mean, mostly Jimmy's fault though, right?
Right. He's a scam artist.
And so at that point, you get really angry, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Really angry. And I emailed him back, and I was like, back and forth. I was like, you know about that promise you made me? I mentioned this in our meeting in Bangkok. And he was like, yeah, you'll get it, but you'll have to step away from the franchise.
What promise? The money back?
The money back guarantee.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, you'll get that. And then I was like, hey, you know about that thing you said? I was like, how about... It's like, okay, I think I'll cash in on that.
Yeah, because you hadn't made any money, so he should give you back your money.
Right. And that was the whole deal. If I make less than $50,000 a year in the first year, he said, I'd get my money back.
That's what they all say, man. That's what they tell you. So you believe it. So that you think, okay, this is risk-free. Or it assures you that there's basically no downside. That's the biggest scam in the book. Yeah, okay. And then you try to exercise it.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, okay, the board is going to have a meeting about this, and we're going to tell you our decision later.
What board?
I don't know.
There was no board.
I'm
going to go out on a limb here and say that there probably was no board involved. It was probably Jimmy Krangler going up. Do I want to give back $30,000? No. All in favor? Myself.
Right. And I got the email back, the response saying, we noted the following. They gave me all of these reasons. Like,
what were the reasons?
The reasons, it was something like, you didn't try hard enough. We gave you everything and you didn't. And then you didn't do it for 3 months, like we said.
There it is. There it is.
Right. So
I thought you had been working on it for more than 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. I hadn't advertised continuously for 3 months.
Oh, because you had been like trying it, hiring a new team, putting it on pause. Right.
So he was like, no, you got to do this continuously for 3 months.
What an odd.
This was never in the stipulations, you know?
Of course not. I feel bad. I feel bad for you. And I feel bad for anyone. I think people assume that because most refund policies, we have an expectation in America that they usually are what they say they are. Like if you go back to like Walmart and say, hey, this wasn't what I thought or what I wanted, you could just get a refund. There's this really frictionless experience of refunds in American culture that makes you think that everybody who says there's a refund, it is what they say it is. And let me be clear with you guys, it is not what they say it is with a lot of these internet marketers.
That's a good point. Yeah. And, I think that's true of the Western world in general, because there were people from England, Australia, all over the place, South Africa, investing in this franchise. So it wasn't just me, but
that's good. That's good. You were, hey, you weren't the only one. Well, that's bad actually. We don't want the Krangler getting more.
No. Maybe you don't understand how bad it is, because I think this guy probably scammed people out of millions of dollars. I don't know for sure how much it was, but it was definitely more than 20 people. And he said he limited it to 50 in the contract at one time. He's like, we're not going to have any more than 50 franchisees. And in a later video,
that's always a lie. That's always a lie. When people say, hey, limited class space, they want it to sound exclusive, but the second the 51st person wants to pay $30,000, I promise you, all those little dreams of a small class size, they disappear. They always do. Look at, you don't know him, but there's this guy, Suraj Raval. He was this computer science guy. He said, I'm starting a course. It's going to be 500 people. Lo and behold, he created 2 different Slack groups that were each 500 people large, because he didn't want to tell the other group that he wanted more people in his course to make more money. The greed takes over. You always end up.
Yeah, it was in the contract though. And
that just doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything that it's in the contract. We have anyway, sorry, I'm going to rant.
I'm just trying. Okay. I'm just trying to emphasize how I don't know how brutal this was, because he claimed that there were several times we were watching him over the course of, after I had already given up, and I was like now pursuing him basically. And we started this Facebook group, and we were watching him. He said that there were,
to be clear, this Facebook group that's like Jimmy Krangle victims or whatever you want to call them.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So we were watching him, and he said a couple of separate times, hurry up, these franchise licenses are going to run out in this November forever. And then he said that again later.
Oh, yeah. False scarcity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The old Dan Locke's prices are going to go up to $10,000 from $2,500 if you don't act now, right? So, no. I mean, just classic stuff. What's interesting is that I hope people who watch this channel on a regular basis start to get the sense that you see the same thing showing up again and again. And I don't think of it as repetitive. I think of it as illustrative of the fact that this industry is not original. Everybody's copying from each other. And all the tactics they use to convince people are the same. They're the same, used in different ways. This like false scarcity thing of like it's about to expire, you got to join now. It's old as time. It's just as old as time. It's what it is.
Right. And people kept joining. And, eventually we got to the point where we were leaving enough bad reviews online that it was starting to affect his business. He was like, hey, you guys are affecting my business. Like, oh, sorry. And then he offered us a refund. He offered me a refund first. And that was sometime in 2019, June, July. And then
contingent on what?
Sorry?
Contingent on what?
Oh. Contingent on the fact that I stop harassing him online.
Stop or delete your previous post as well?
Well, I wasn't going to delete my previous post. At that point, I was past that. So he had already asked for that at one point. Like, I'm going to sue you for libel and defamation if you don't take this down. The first time I took it down. The second time I was like, no, you just got to make good.
You have no idea. How much have you watched of Coffeezilla? Just like 1 or 2 videos, or like just like half a video?
Probably 5 or 6 videos.
Okay. Well, it's just funny to me that because he's checking every box right now. You have no idea how funny this is, because every guru, as soon as they start getting bad reviews, their first option is like, oh, cease and desist letter. I'm going to sue you for libel and slander.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he signs off the email in plain text, like, I am a lawyer. Yeah. Right? No, he didn't say that literally, but like, he's like, this name lawyer, plain text. There's nothing, there's no logo there. There's no company that I can check or verify. And it has an @english.org email address. All right. So after that, he promised that by October I would get all of the money back. I mean, that wasn't a part of the, he signed an agreement, like a settlement agreement, he called it. And I was supposed to stop defaming him online and stuff. And then it was like $250 a month. He made me 2 payments of $500 bi-monthly. And then by October, the 3rd payment was due. He was late on the first payment, and then in October, he was like, okay, because you're so upset, I'm going to give you all your money back in October. It was like, okay, I'll accept that, because I have to wait. I can't just not wait and see what happens. I have no other option. So
right. He's got you. He's totally got you.
Yeah. And then, a few days before the due date comes around, he's like, because you contacted one of my franchisees and something or whatever, he's like, I'm not going to pay you. He's like, how predictable. And that was the point at which I gave up on it, but
on getting a refund,
emotionally I was like, this is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But later we as a group, we collectively started, pushing back, trying to expose this guy online for what he is. We're just telling our story, he can't stop us from doing that.
Right.
And, there were so many of us, so it had a real impact. And he's like, okay, I'm going to pay you back all of your money. You just got to stop. And that was like $287,000 that he owed us.
Oh, just in this group that had voluntarily joined the group.
Right.
He said he's going to pay all of these people back. By the way, this isn't the number of people who have gotten scammed collectively. This is just the number of people who have been found that like voluntarily joined this group. Okay.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, because I know people who were not in the group. They would not join because they're like, maybe I could make 1 or 2 sales here and there and make some of it back. So, I was like, it's your choice, man. Later they would come back and say, hey, you were right about this guy. So that's what happened, He promised he would pay us all back. There were 14 of us who were included in this agreement. And it was $287,000. We argued a bit about the terms, like when should it start, and we settled on February. We didn't have a completely signed agreement, but it was signed by him and sent to us, which we revised and sent back to him. But then he's like, he didn't sign that one. So, but we're like, okay, we're expecting this payment, just so you know, in February, and it was $2,500. It's not a lot for him because we were expecting to get like $10,000 a month, basically, because we didn't want to take forever on this thing. There's only so much we were willing to take, but $2,500 right now as a, good faith show of good faith, basically. So he pays that late, and then he's like, okay, I'm liquidating my business. It's all gone.
Wait, that was it? Then he pays $2,500.
I don't understand what he was doing. What did he think he was achieving by that? He gave us $2,500. That's like $120
Maybe
each.
he felt that was his way of paying penance for taking $300,000. He's like, I'll pay them back 1% of what I took from them.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. And then he has these videos later, because we're still watching him, but he has these videos of these very expensive vacations he took with his wife and his family in Thailand. He has these photos of his wife's massage parlor and like these videos of his apartment, really lavish places, resorts, these exotic resorts in Thailand where he went. It was just is in your face,
Yeah. Of him using the money you gave him to go lavishly spend it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can you do though? The guy does not live in America. Even if he did, getting your money back, even from people in America, is extremely tough. Just people don't understand that contracts aren't worth what you think they're worth. Money back guarantees aren't worth what you think you're worth. What matters is who holds the money. And when you hand that money over to someone else, they've got you. They have got you. Okay, so let's start wrapping this up. So because I think we've run the gamut of you getting involved, you losing all this money, you sort of waking up, you trying to get your money back, unable to get your money back. Jimmy Kringle sort of just disappears into the smoke. And I guess, what are you taking away from this that, obviously there's no way to get your money back, but how have you sort of, obviously you're speaking out to try to help other people, but what else are you trying to do? What else have you learned?
I've learned not to trust somebody. I saw this quote. It was like from Aristotle or something, but don't trust a man who urges an action for which he takes no risk. So
that is
he took no part in this. Yeah, mm-hmm. He took no risk in this. So there is no reason that he should honor his agreements. I can't believe I couldn't see it earlier. I felt so dumb. I was like, okay, now I know, and I've I can see through all of this stuff now. I feel like this is never going to happen again. That's for sure. But I just feel it's really important for people to know that this kind of thing happens. It's not just these fake gurus who promise you're going to learn something from them that will make you $1 million. Some people actually claim they have a working business model that can make you rich now.
Fake gurus do that. Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, we'll have to mute that. We have Voldemort says that Amazon FBA is the working business model that's so easy, so future-proof, so perfect that you should get involved. A lot of people do that. This is not uncommon. MLMs are a great example. Multi-level marketing is a great example of people who are constantly saying, hey, you can make all this money. You can make all this money. Foolproof, proven system, proven. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that idiotic line, and it's absolutely not proven. Yeah. It's absolutely not true. So, no, not uncommon. I think people just have to realize and appreciate how much their mind will convince them because they so badly want it to be true. They so badly want it to be true that for $30,000, you can start making $100,000 a year.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. That's exactly what I felt. And I think it's important for people to just be aware of the scale of this thing and all of the things, because there's so many gurus out there. This guy is not even known in the West, and he scammed people out of probably over $1 million. I can't say for sure, but
he's such a good point. That's such a good point. Okay. If you thought, like I did when you first heard the story, who's Jimmy Krangle? Well, richer than me or you, that's who Jimmy Krangle is. And we don't even know about, he's not even a big guru. If that guy is making this amount of money by, over-promising, under-delivering, whatever you want to call it, scamming people, as you said, what are these big gurus doing? What are these gurus who their brand names almost at this point, right? What are the Dan Locks of the world doing? What are the Voldemorts of the world doing in terms of numbers, in terms of number of people that maybe don't get what they're promised?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want people to be aware of this because you can get sucked in so easy.
And it has profound implications on your life. $80,000 is no joke. It's caused you to get a new career, have to change your career. It's, affected everything, right?
Yeah. I was determined to make it because at the time when I moved back to the US, I was like, I got to go stay with my grandparents again, just so I can, find my footing. At that point, that's when the business failed. And I realized what I was involved in. It's like, I'm going to have to stay here forever. I was like, there's no way. So, I'm 30 years old. I need to get out and get on my own. So I was living in poverty for a few months. I got a cheap apartment and bought a car because I was back in the US. I had to get everything set up again. And I started going to school and working part-time just to make enough money. And fortunately, I've been able to make enough money to support myself. So, things are turning around, I want to say, because 2018 and 19 was a big downward slide and from the top to the bottom, just straight down.
Well, so, I love your attitude. I think you have a really good attitude for the hand you've been dealt. And it's clear to me that, given your work ethic, you're gonna eventually rise back up. But people do have to appreciate, the amount of years it sets you back in terms of where you were, where you are now, what your abilities are now, because you just don't have the money that you did, because you spent it all on this guy. So I think that about covers it. I don't want to rehash too much. I think those are some good final thoughts from you, Levi. Thank you so much, seriously, for coming on the show. People, it is not easy to talk about losing $50,000 on the internet to thousands, tens of thousands of people. So please show some love to Levi in the comments section. And if you have a similar story you'd like to share, get it out there. I'm telling you guys, this makes a difference. It shows people the architecture of these things. And when they see it, I get fan mail all the time. Or maybe it's just thank mail, because they just say, hey, I was about to buy this course. I watched one of your videos. I realized I was falling for something that wasn't legit. And that's the best thing we can do here is prevent future people from getting involved in these ridiculous operations and wasting time and money. Yeah. So thank you so much, Levi.
Thank you, Coffee. Like Stephen, what you do is invaluable. I've never seen anybody do anything like this before. It's like, I see people like Ty Lopez and I'm like, when is somebody going to call these people out? And I don't want to point fingers again, but you've called so many people out, and it just provides something that was never there, that I've never found before. So thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time.